I'm by no means the model of male health. I don't want to sell myself as such. I lost my dad suddenly to a heart attack about 2.5 years ago. I was already at that time in my life trying to be a little bit more health conscious, you know, entering mid-30 range, stuff like that. And when I lost him, it was a little bit more of a wake-up call, a little bit more of a call to action.
My first real serious health scare was probably 2006. I had some heart issues, and then in 2008 I actually had gastric bypass surgery to try and get my weight down, trying to help get that under control.
Well, it started a year ago. Last January I was doing remotes at an event that the hospital was at, and you guys were doing blood glucose screenings, and I really didn't plan on having testing myself. I was there doing remotes, and Emily just pretty much insisted that I have it done, and never really realized I had any problems with diabetes, but my number was quite high.
So most men can take some simple steps to improve their health and wellness. Looking at parking a little further from a store and walking, looking at where you can take the stairs as opposed to an elevator or an escalator, or also look at where you can walk someplace as opposed to just to drive.
If you exercise, you're going to burn a lot more sugar throughout the day. So after, I don't know how many years, I reluctantly kind of started doing that, and and I'm still doing it today, a half hour every morning. So I think that helps a lot as well.
What I've done since that time is try to work out a little bit more regularly, try to watch what I eat a little bit. I dropped some weight, not enough. I have a long way to go.
I admit, God, when you're quite a bit heavier, and it was a tough thing to get started, but looking back on, I'm definitely glad I did.
I have to watch my salt intake a little bit. Red meat's kind of bad for a guy that's been through the heart problems that I've had.
Americans consume a lot of calories through liquid forms. We don't realize, but things such as milk, juices, and definitely soda pop have a lot of calories associated with them.
I thought it's a lot easier to make these changes now and to really analyze what I had been eating, and it's really amazing how many things you can eat long as you're eating the right things.
I pay a little bit closer attention to what I eat, not close attention, but I try to keep track of that, and it's not a yearly thing, but I do try and set up an appointment every once in a while to get those levels tested out again, make sure that I don't have any high blood pressure or high cholesterol, stuff like that.
So oftentimes men, particularly the younger men, don't see a need to see their doctor regularly. They aren't on any medication, so they assume they're healthy. They don't feel sick, so they assume there's no other chronic problems sneaking up on them.
I usually wait until there's something wrong with me to go to the doctor. Unlike most men my age, there's nothing really wrong until there's something really, really wrong. But I am a little bit more careful now that if I get a little twinge in the right arm, or I, feel like I'm a little short of breath, I'm a little more keen to say, geez, I wonder if that's the start of a relapse of something that's already happened to me. Do I need to, get in and get that checked out? My wife's pretty careful to help kick me in the right direction too.
A lot of times men get concerned that they don't want to know any of the bad news. And I oftentimes will tell people is most of the time you'll find you actually have very good news to report.
I had a little bit of anxiety going into the appointment the first time, just because I didn't know, because I hadn't tested anything out.
The other thing that some people fear are the simple routine things of an exam. They're concerned about their privacy or scared of getting needles or shots. The vast majority of the time it's a very comforting setting. Providers work very hard to make it so.
Some people have anxiety over needles. It's so simple. It literally takes 5 minutes to do what you need to do, and within a week you get the results back in the mail. Call back, talk to the doctors, find out if there is anything that you need to worry about.
So oftentimes you'll find that a gentleman will come in their 50s and have not really seen a physician for the last 3 decades. That can be quite difficult to know how chronic or how long-term these problems have been. By having these regular checks and these baselines, we sort of have a better sense of knowing what your disease progression may have been, how much damage may be there, and even sometimes what therapies can be the most effective at treating that disease.
I've lost a lot of weight, like 76 pounds since I started, so that's definitely been a great side benefit. Gosh, that'd be like carrying around 100, adding 76 more pounds to everything you do. So yeah, definitely just have a lot more energy. And I think exercising has helped a lot too. You just kind of feel a little bit more ready to go in the morning.
I got the wake-up call that my dad never got. He died of a massive heart attack in the car with my mom sitting right next to him, and basically he had the same thing I had. It's just that in 1967, they didn't have all the great practices and things that they do now to tell you that kind of thing's coming on, or to tell you that it's happening, or the drugs that they give you now to help prevent some of that from happening.
But I also have 2 young kids, and that was the other part that really weighed heavily on me. Is it wasn't just about me. If it was just about me, I probably wouldn't have paid too much attention to it. But having gone through that loss of my dad at a younger age, I got a really clear view of the pain that can cause both my mom, myself, my sister, and everybody that was around us. So it was thinking about these guys and what I need to do for them.
I have a family. My daughters are both older now, 30 and 27. I do have a new grandchild, 18 months old, born on my birthday. And she's pretty much captured my heart now, and given me new reason to feel like maybe I ought to try and hang around as long as I can.
The one thing that I could or should do better is exercise more.
Yeah, I think the one thing that if I could do better, I would do is I'd probably eat better. I'd probably be a lot more careful about what I eat.
The one thing that I feel I can do better is increase my activity level even further.
Well, I think the one thing I could do better is continue to be tested when there's things out there to be tested for, and just keep striving to get in a little better health every day.
I know.
I know.
I know.
I know.
I can do
one thing.
One thing.
One thing
one thing
better.
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 Better.